Have you ever wandered the enchanting, sometimes confusing, streets of Boston's North End, perhaps after enjoying a delicious cannoli, and wondered why they seem to twist and turn without any apparent order? Well, you are on to something, because the streets of the North End do indeed reflected a distinct type of colonial street planning, or rather, the organic growth patterns of a very early colonial settlement. Unlike some later American cities that were laid out with a strict grid system, Boston, and particularly its oldest neighborhood, the North End, grew for more naturally. Imagine the earliest settlers establishing their homes and businesses near the waterfront. Paths would form naturally between these houses, leading to the docks or to common grazing areas for livestock. These weren't grand avenues designed by a surveyor. They were practical routes that evolved from everyday needs. English common law also played a part here. Landowners were largely free to develop their plots as they saw fit, without a central authority imposing a rigid city plan. Over time, as more people settled and land was reclaimed from the harbor, these informal paths became solidified into the narrow, winding streets we see today, a charming historical relic of an earlier time. To truly appreciate this historical layout, the best thing to do is simply walk the North End. Allow yourself to get a little lost in its labyrinthine charm. Notice how few streets are perfectly straight or intersect at neat 90-degree angles. Pay attention to the unexpected turns and how buildings seem to snuggle into the curves of the street. You can also try to imagine the original shoreline before extensive land reclamation. Many of these streets were laid out directly on or very close to the natural contours of the land and harbor. This style of urban development is often referred to as cowpath urbanism, though it's more accurately described as a pre-planned organic growth driven by necessity and individual property rights. It stands in stark contrast to the later, more formal, and often grid-based city planning that became common in America, especially after the American Revolution. The North End offers a unique opportunity to experience a genuinely medieval European street pattern that was transplanted and adapted in early colonial America. It is a living museum, if you will, of how early settlements organically formed before the age of structured urban design. So, when you next find yourself navigating the delightful twists and turns of the North End, remember you are not just walking down a street. You are stepping onto a living map, tracing the footsteps of early colonists, and experiencing an authentic piece of Boston's developmental history, revealing how necessity and organic growth shaped one of America's oldest and most beloved neighborhoods into the charming place it is today.